Stiffness in your hips reflects the things your mouth refused to say. And the more you keep inside, the louder your body speaks. But it doesn't speak with words, it screams through pain. It's no coincidence that you wake up with a clenched jaw, or that your hips feel heavy, for no clear reason. These silent locks are untold stories. They're swallowed decisions, suppressed desires, boundaries you wanted to set but couldn't, and all of that turned into tension. What wasn't expressed through words sank into your belly, and got stuck there, in the place where your instincts, your sexuality, and your creativity try to be born every day. But they can't, because the jaw is the lock, and the hips are the prison. There is a hidden connection between these two regions, and almost no one talks about it. But it's there, pulsing at the center of your structure. From an anatomical point of view, there's a silent rhythm between the sacrum and the base of the skull. A subtle movement that stops when you begin to hold too much inside. When you swallow the truth, silence your anger, and don't allow yourself to feel what needs to be felt. Your body molds itself to silence, but the soul, it keeps trying to speak. That's why the ancients called the hips the throne of life, because from there, movement is born, willpower, action. But without a voice, there's no direction. Without expression, there's no release. And what was meant to be a flow becomes a prison. Today, you'll understand why your energy feels stuck, and how to release what's been trapped in silence for too long. Not with ready-made formulas, but with awareness, with presence, with the courage to listen to what you were never taught to hear, the hidden sound of your own body. You carry two portals that govern your freedom, but no one ever explained to you that they communicate. The jaw where you swallow screams, truths, and impulses. The hips where you repress desires, actions, and instincts. Between them, an invisible axis pulses, compressed by everything you didn't express. When the mouth goes quiet, the body follows, and this silent obedience turns into stiffness, fatigue, and absence. It's not just physical, it's spiritual. It's as if the flow of your soul got trapped between what wasn't said and what was never lived. But there is a key, and it's not in medications or isolated massages. It lies in the integration between word and flesh, between expression and grounding. Thoth used to say that the word is a creator, but a word that is never spoken turns into a prison, and that prison settles deep in the muscles, disguised as normal. Today, you'll understand the code that connects these two worlds. You'll discover how to release vital energy that has been blocked for years. You'll feel not just know how small tensions can hide big traumas. And more than that, you'll learn a practical technique that restores flow where the body got stuck. The words stopped and the soul went quiet. In the silent temples of ancient Kemet, the body wasn't studied, it was read. Read like an oracle. Each joint was a hieroglyph, each muscle a strand of wisdom. And among all the sacred points of the body, two held a particular mystery: the base of the skull, where the sphenoid bone lies, and the end of the spine, where the sacrum rests. Thoth called this connection the bridge of the embodied word, because what the mouth does not release, the hips hold, and what the hips hold, the soul begins to suffer. They knew it's not enough to call upon the heavens with your voice. You must also ground it with the earth of your body. Words without action turn into stagnation. In Hermetic tradition, this relationship formed the foundation of the law of correspondence. Everything that vibrates above echoes below. The skull and the pelvis form a resonance axis. Tension in one creates a blockage in the other. And that's how the cycle begins. Silence, repression, illness. But the body always tries to warn you. In the grinding of your teeth at night, in the heaviness of your jaw, in the stiffness of your hips with no clear reason. These are signs of what hasn't found a way out. Today, science is beginning to confirm what the initiates always knew. The sacrum and the sphenoid move in sync. The vagus nerve threads this dance between the brain and instinct. And liberation begins when you listen to this inner silence and turn tension into words. Craniosacral osteopathy, developed by William Sutherland and refined by modern therapists, brought to light an astonishing discovery. The sacrum and the sphenoid bone, located at opposite ends of the spine, move in a synchronized way, like two poles of the same wave. This phenomenon is known as the primary respiratory movement, a subtle pulse that happens independently of lung breathing. It is a silent tide that flows through the whole body, and when it is blocked, it disrupts the flow of vital energy and neurological communication. The jaw, in turn, is directly connected to this dance. It influences the craniosacral system through tension in the chewing muscles, which impacts the sphenoid, the same bone that drives the rhythmic movement of the skull, and affects the entire chain down to the hips. The polyvagal theory, developed by neuroscientist Stephen Porges, reinforces this link. According to him, the vagus nerve is the bridge between emotional states and physiological responses, running through the jaw, neck, chest, and down to the pelvis. When there's trauma or emotional repression, the body enters a frozen state. The result is a mouth that doesn't speak what it feels and hips that don't move as they wish. This is not just a poetic metaphor. It is a real neurophysiological circuit, mapped and proven. And when this circuit is released, the energy that once seemed lost begins to flow. Science is finally confirming what the ancients already knew. Every soul blockage takes shape as a physical lock in the body. You don't need another method. What you need is a return. A return to listening to what your body has always known, but you were taught to ignore. And that listening begins where your voice was silenced and your desire was held back. It begins where your jaw became tense and your hips froze. Step 1. Slow down the inner noise. Lie down in silence, in a space where you can fully surrender. Place one hand over the center of your chest and the other over your lower belly. Just feel, breathe. Let the air enter gently through your teeth, as if passing through a sacred portal. As you exhale, release through your mouth like a sigh, and notice your jaw begin to relax, as if something ancient is finally giving up the fight. This simple gesture already sends a clear message to your nervous system. You can stop protecting yourself. Step 2. Recognize the pattern that repeats. Bring to mind a moment when you stayed silent. A memory when you wanted to say something, but held it in. Then notice how your body reacts just by remembering. Does your jaw tighten? Do your hips close off? Does your breath become shallow? This is the moment of inner reflection. You begin to see the invisible link between unspoken words and unlived actions. Between I can't speak and I can't move. Between verbal repression and pelvic freezing. You are now inside the code, and it's asking to be rewritten. Step 3. Release the silenced word. Sit with your spine upright and your feet grounded. Close your eyes and bring to mind a phrase you never said. Something that's been stuck for years. A boundary, a truth, a cry. Now, with your mouth slightly open, say that phrase softly, then say it a little louder. And then, with more presence, as if each word were a key unlocking your body. It doesn't matter if there are tears. It doesn't matter if you shake. This is the word returning to being a bridge, not a prison. In that moment, the vibration of your voice is not just in the air. It resonates through your skull, travels down your spine, and touches your sacrum. This is the vibrational geometry of truth being reconnected. Step 4. Mobilize the pelvic center with awareness. Lie down again. Bend your knees, keeping your feet on the floor. Relax your shoulders, release your jaw, and begin a gentle pelvic tilt, as if your sacrum was sliding forward and backward, millimeter by millimeter. This micro-movement, when done with presence, activates the intelligence of the craniosacral axis. It's not a physical exercise, it's an energetic ritual. As you move, repeat silently, I release what I couldn't live. I return to my center. Feel the synchrony arise. The jaw lets go. The hips awaken. The whole body responds. Step 5. Reconfigure the neuro-emotional pathway. After the previous practice, sit in silence. Place one hand over your hips and the other over your jaw. Take 3 deep breaths, paying attention to what you feel. These 2 points hold more than tension, they hold old choices. Every time you stayed silent to keep the peace, every time you swallowed your tears to avoid judgment, every time you ignored your desires to play a role, these imprints created a circuit, a neural pathway that learned to freeze. Now, you are going to teach it a new path. As you breathe, repeat silently, I allow my expression to support my movement. I allow my body to support my truth. Feel the difference. Don't force it. Just witness the reconfiguration taking place. This small sequence, practiced consistently, changes the vibrational field around your body. You become more perceptive, more connected, more free. Little by little, your voice regains soul, and your hips direction. When the word aligns with instinct, a new center is born. A body that doesn't repeat the past, but creates the future. Soren had a strange stiffness in his hips. Nothing showed up as serious in his medical exams, but it was constant, restrictive. A tension that seemed to come from nowhere and kept him from dancing, running, even sleeping without waking up. Locked. For years, he tried stretches, massages, supplements. Nothing worked for long, but what Soren never questioned was the silence. Because Soren didn't scream, didn't argue, didn't ask. He had learned early on that speaking too much could lead to rejection, and that staying quiet avoided conflict. But a mouth that stays silent eventually weighs down the body. And when the voice is suppressed, the root begins to shake. Soren's jaw was stiff as iron, and his hips like a stuck door. Everything changed on a quiet morning, with no big expectations. He met a therapist who didn't ask for tests. She asked for presence. She told him to breathe with his mouth open, without filter, without shame. Every sound felt strange at first, almost embarrassing. But he kept going, and for the first time, he felt like he could exist without censoring himself. At the end of the session, she simply said, "When you open your mouth with truth, the body thanks you." Soren didn't understand right away, but that night, something happened. Sleep came deep. The tension vanished, as if his entire body had finally heard what he had never said. Soren discovered that his hips didn't need fixing. They needed permission. Permission to flow, to feel, to live. And it all began with the courage to open his mouth, not to chew, but to release. The first reaction when someone tries to release the jaw and hips is resistance. Not from the world, but from the body itself. An invisible block that makes you think it's not working. That maybe you're doing it wrong. Or that this tension has always been there and always will be. This is the biggest obstacle, the silent belief that your body has gotten used to the tightness, that being stuck became part of your identity, and that releasing this energy would be too dangerous. As if opening your mouth meant losing control. As if unlocking your hips meant losing your morals, your composure, your limits. But that is an illusion, a defense mechanism of the mind, afraid of what it cannot control. But there is something greater, a hidden code that has always been with you. Correspondence. The Hermetic law, taught by Hermes, says that everything above is like what is below. What is inside vibrates outside, and what moves transforms. This means that by activating a single point, the jaw, for example, you are already affecting the whole. You don't need to understand everything. You just need to begin. So, when you feel your body resisting, pause for a moment. Breathe through your mouth. Let out a sound, even if it's subtle. Gently move your hips as if you were drawing spirals with your root. You've just hacked an ancestral pattern. You've shown your body that it no longer needs to stay silent. And even if the pain returns, now you know it's only a call for expression. Transformation doesn't require force. It requires listening. And you already have everything you need to move forward in harmony with your own sound. Everything the body represses, life repeats. And what you silence in your jaw falls asleep in your hips. It's not just muscle tension, it's your untold story. It's the scream never voiced, the desire never lived, the boundary never set. Every contraction has an origin, and every origin holds a choice, to remain imprisoned, or to release what was held back in the name of survival. The good news is that the truth never disappears. It only hides in the folds of your flesh, waiting to be heard with courage. You don't need to understand everything right away, nor do you have to undo decades of repression in a single day. But you do need to feel. And above all, trust that there is wisdom in discomfort, because discomfort is the soul's last language before total silence. To release the jaw is not just to open your mouth. It is to allow your original vibration to take up space again. To unlock the hips is not just to stretch a muscle. It is to reclaim the impulse of your creation, the movement of your deepest truth. Do not underestimate the subtlety of these gestures. They are portals, small actions that shift entire dimensions. And when the body moves with awareness, the whole reality dances along. As Wilhelm Reich, the father of bioenergetics, once said, the human body holds the history of all its experiences, and every muscle released is a healed memory. Every deep breath is a version of you being brought back to life. So don't shut your eyes to what your body keeps trying to show. Listen, move, release, because what you repressed to survive, is what you must express in order to truly live. The soul hasn't lost its voice. It has only shaped itself around the tightness of your jaw and the weight of hips that stopped trusting their own impulse. But the truth that was silenced still pulses, and all the energy that didn't flow can still be set free. If this video touched a part of you that has long been asking for release, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This helps strengthen the field of awareness we're building together. I want to feel your presence vibrating in the comments. Write, I release the truth my body held in my hips and jaw. This phrase activates your commitment to your own awakening and seals your journey energetically. Share this video with someone who needs to remember that the body holds what the soul silences. And don't stop here. Click on the screen and dive into another deep video on this channel. Each unlocking is a reunion with your essence. Remember, the body doesn't invent pain, it reveals secrets. And those who learn to listen to what once hurt, reconnect with what is real.